Some coaches will tell you they don't want pre-meds. Like, I really don't understand how you can just like lay out a rule like that.
I had gotten like a facial fracture, and so my face was like all puffy.
Some coaches will tell you they don't want pre-meds. Like, I've heard that from many of like my summer teammates were saying a school they talked to said no pre-meds. Like, what do you mean? That's what they want to do with their life. Like, I really don't understand how you can just like lay out a rule like that. And I think it's really helpful to have a coach like Steph who's wanting to bring the best out of everyone and get them to reach their full potential. She's not going to hold you back in the classroom because she wants more of you on the field, because we hold ourselves to a high standard where we try to do it all. And I think that that's rewarding and hard at times, but is it frustrating maybe to see teams that don't prioritize it as much? Sure, but I don't think that's necessarily an excuse that we would use, like, oh, well, our GPA is really good, so it's okay. We can kind of lay off on the soccer part. Like, we're trying to do it all. So I think, like, yes and no.
If you both look at your journeys, what was the hardest thing that you've both experienced kind of throughout your time?
So at the end of my sophomore year, my individual meeting, I went in, and one of our coaches, the way that they were coaching me wasn't necessarily working for me. It was a lot of targeting what felt like to me, and I would see like other players making the same mistakes and not getting called out for it, and that was really frustrating to deal with. On top of the playing time thing, I just didn't know what to do. I felt really lost and frustrated, and I had to go up in my individual meeting and basically like tell the coach that they were not coaching in a way that was productive for me. And I kind of had to approach it in a way where it was like, I want to be coached, because I really did. Like, I wanted to do anything I could to be on the field. So I basically ended up just breaking down in tears to the coaches, like telling them that, like, basically telling them to stop yelling at me, which is insane to like have to go up and talk to coaches about. Like, that's very hard. But then like after that, me and that coach's relationship, it got so much better. Like, I grew as a player exponentially that spring. Like, that was really a turning point in my journey, where after that season and going into that spring, us all being on the same page about what worked for me, I think in the end, it ended up being a really good thing. And that spring was like where I grew the most as a player, because they were able to coach me in a way that I needed to be coached. So, but it was definitely hard.
What gave you the courage to do that?
I think there was a bit of like, I think at that point I kind of gained a little bit of confidence about where I belonged, and like the fact that I knew that I could compete at this level, and having more confidence in my abilities and like who I wanted to be and where I wanted my journey to go. I think that gave me a little bit of confidence, but honestly, it really was just like, this has to happen. Like, it was just kind of one of those things where it wasn't like, maybe I'll go talk to them about this today. Like, it was like weighing on my mind for a long time, and like kind of had to just wait till season was over. Didn't want to ruffle any feathers or even like take away from what was going on like with the whole team. Obviously, like, the focus needs to be on winning and not Keegan.
So Mia, what do you think? You have some time to think about it now. What do you think your most challenging thing you've dealt with?
It was in a really physical game against Arkansas. I had gotten like a facial fracture, and so my face was like all puffy. Had to go to the hospital that night, and it was like a long game, and it was just like it was pretty rough that night, in lots of pain, obviously, and then had to sit out. Thankfully, I didn't have to sit out like too long. I had to play with like these goggles afterwards that were so horrible. But just sitting out and like watching and not being able to play is so frustrating. I like had always felt bad for the injured players, like knowing that they were frustrated, but when it's actually you, it's like, it's horrible, like knowing you can't do anything to help. But thankfully I wasn't out for too long.
Like, you weren't on the bus ride home? Or...
No, I bus ride. They offered me to go to the hospital in Arkansas, or go back with my parents, or bus ride to Columbia and just go straight to the hospital. So I bussed home.
Okay, wow.
But I remember I had like
saw it in person and was like, why is she on the bus?
Yeah, it was rough, and then went straight to the hospital and was there like all night with our trainer. But thankfully I wasn't out too long. That was all I really cared about, is when I could come back and play.